our buddy Josh Pate, who we will talk to on Wednesday, likes to do paper pop stats on his show, where a stat should be like if I told you this is how the game would go, right? If I tell you a team is going to be 7 of 12 passing the football for 32 yards, a 2.7 yard per pass, what would you think the result for that team would be?
Not good.
32 passing yards.
How good's the defense?
7 of 12.
Not good.
You would think, right? Only 12 total first downs as an offense. You think, yeah, probably not going to win that game. That is the passing stat line for the Michigan Wolverines this weekend as they beat Lincoln Riley and USC 27-24.
Devastating loss.
Furious comeback from USC. They were body bagged in the first half. Looked like they didn't belong on the same field, even though we all knew Michigan was going to run the ball every snap.
Orji can't throw.
There is literally no threat of a passing attack from Michigan at all. I don't even know how many of those passes were behind the line of scrimmage. It felt like a lot of them were. Mm-hmm. They woke up in the second half, made it a game, but give up the late run and the late touchdown, and they fall just short. And I think my biggest takeaway from this game, outside of getting to once again chuckle at Lincoln Riley, is that I think Michigan's officially turned into Iowa.
Well, Michigan.
That is Iowa.
That is. They're Iowa this year.
They're Iowa. Sure. This year. That is Iowa football.
And they're a team that's going to have a stout defensive line, good secondary, strong, big offensive line. We know that, right? Like, we know that they're Iowa this year. The concerning part was the start. Like you mentioned it, USC didn't look like they belonged on the same field physically. No. We also learned this weekend that LSU beat UCLA, but LSU's not that good.
No, they got ran all over by South Carolina and should have lost that game, and they were in a dogfight with UCLA.
They came back, though, in the second half. They ended up taking the lead. The crazy thing was giving up that long run that basically ended the game for them. I was baffled by it. Michigan is not throwing the football. No. I knew it from the start of the game. I knew it at the end of the game. And USC picked up on this. Somehow it took them all of like a quarter and a half to pick up on this.
Maybe we should load up to stop the run.
And they did. And they basically like slowed it down. And one run popped 65-plus yards, and Michigan gets in field goal territory, and basically the game is over because USC's not going to march the length of the field in 30 seconds. The unfortunate thing for them, Miller Moss, the pick six.
Yeah.
And look, that is not a good read. He didn't see Johnson there.
That was a hell of a play by Johnson.
But also, I was glad on the broadcast. I thought Danielson was right. Like, Branch can't keep backing up. Eventually, go get the football. Step to the football. Don't back up and wait for it. And Johnson read it perfectly. Bad read by Moss. But, yeah, you don't have the pick six. USC wins the game.
You do?
And I think people are having, despite what we know Michigan is, they're having a different feel. I still think USC is a very good team.
They're improved defensively from where they were last year, despite some of these numbers.
And I still think they can be 9-3, 10-2 this year.
Yeah.
I really do. I still think they're good enough. They did not execute late in that game, and it's baffling how they allowed Michigan to have that long run.
They also had some turnover luck themselves, too, right? Like Donovan Edwards fumbled on his own, 13-yard line that handed them a short field that they were able to score. I like making fun of Lincoln Riley just because it's funny. I will give him a lot of credit, though. We had a handful of coaches, and I want to get to this at some point in the show today or tomorrow. There were a number of coaches this week that just showed their insane lack of ability to take accountability for what happened to their football teams and blaming everything other than themselves for the way that their team played in their performance. And I'll give Lincoln credit. He came out after the game and said, I got to be better. There were certain situations early in the game. They settled for that field goal late when they were trying to get back into it. I thought their play calling in the red zone was horrendous. They're calling these little play action, tight end screen, throwback. Like, what are we doing here, dude? Like, they came out early in the game trying to show we're big, we're physical, we can play big boy football. It's like, you're a throwing team. You don't have to come in and play Michigan football. Play USC football and find a way to win. And they were getting bottled up early on. And then they had the ball up by whatever it was it 24-20, I think, and they had the lead. You got the football back. Michigan went 3 and out. Here's your chance. Go put the game on ice. You got the lead, fourth quarter with the football. That's when a good football team should be able to say,
yes,
run the ball, we're going to work some clock, we're going to work this thing down, get a couple of first downs, and the game's going to be over. And what did they do? They went 3 and out. They threw a couple of incompletions. They stopped the clock, gave it right back to Michigan, and then Michigan goes down and scores on 4th and goal.
Well, in 4th and goal, Michigan's at like the 2-yard line. Yeah. Everybody and their mom knows what they're doing there.
They're going to run it.
And you can always be hesitant and go, oh, what if there's a play action? Like, oh, he sucks at throwing the football. I don't think there'll be a play action.
No.
run the football.
Run the ball.
And we knew they were going to do it. They couldn't get a stop. And that's ultimately what doomed them. That was a really golden opportunity they blew. But I think that's part of the story. Everybody thought, and maybe they still will because we don't know how the season's going to go, USC was going to be a 7-5 type team, maybe 8-4. I think they're better than that. And what he needs to do next is something you've been highlighting and what we all saw in the beginning of that game. You need to get hogs. That's the Big Ten thing. You need to start getting the hogs. That's what those top-tier teams have. Ohio State has it. Michigan has it. Oregon has it.
Well, Texas, clearly, the way they played at Michigan, they're up front, just built different.
I'm just talking about the Big Ten teams.
Oh, just the Big Ten.
USC needs to start. It's great to say we got the 5-star wide receiver. Cool. Your 3- and 4-star wide receivers are going to be good, too.
Yeah.
That's your system. You need to start going and getting hogs. They get that, and I think it changes because we know that dude can develop quarterbacks, and we know he knows football.
Yeah, they only have, I think, one defensive lineman who's over 300 pounds, and that's
a problem.
That's an issue, and I know they bulked up in the offseason, but Michigan ran it 46 times for 290 yards on them.
They're two beeves they're relying on defensively, and Arnold and Mascarenas. Those dudes are pivotal for their defense this year.
One of them got banged up this weekend, too.
Arnold
his shoulder.
kept getting hurt.
Looked like his shoulder kept getting dislocated.
Yeah.
Last thought on this, and we'll get to some other college stuff. It blows my mind. I don't know if you guys have this watching games like this. Michigan's one of the best programs in the country. They're one of the most recognizable programs in all of college football. How you can be that good and not have a quarterback who can complete a forward pass? How do you not luck your way into a 3? How can you not find that? I can't wrap my head around that. It's one thing to not be great. You struggle in the passing game. They literally can't throw the football.
Well, I think we know this from just watching almost all the college football that we watch. There's not a lot of great quarterbacks. There's just not.
We'll get that kid from San Jose State, man. He's torching people. Get that guy in that offense.
He's torching people at San Jose State in that offense.
I don't think Alex Orgy can torch San Jose State. I don't know if he could torch anybody.
You could be right, but
what if can't throw a football?
What have we also seen? By the way, you know who almost got him? Who wanted him badly?
Who, Alex Orgy?
Yeah.
I mean, he was a highly touted recruit. I know that.
USC. Yeah. USC almost got him. He was a 5-star kid. He's 6'3", 200 and some pounds. He's a big athlete. Yeah. A lot of schools wanted that guy, and they didn't get him. Michigan got him. So
shouldn't be playing tight end, if we're being honest, but
he's a great athlete. Yes, I tend to agree with that. My point is, we've seen kind of this, no, I wouldn't say this wave, but, Malachi Nelson, Ty Thompson.
There've been a lot of highly touted guys that don't pan out.
Orgy. You got some 5-star guys in college football that you can point to and go, 5-star?
Yeah.
The Vandegrift kid, I think, at Kentucky was a 5-star.
Oklahoma benched theirs this weekend.
Jackson Arnold had a bad weekend, so it's these 5-stars no longer are guaranteed 5 stars at every place. And college football, it's just so hard to find a quarterback.
I just laugh when I'm watching on my couch. How do you can't go be Giovanni McCoy, 10 of 19 for 140 yards. You can't find somebody that can do that.
He's an athlete.
I know, it's just hilarious to me. But Michigan wins a rock fight, and it was an ugly game for them throwing the football but not running the ball. And USC has to go back to the drawing board, see if they can maybe gain a little bit more weight before Big Ten football continues for them. They take on Wisconsin at home this weekend.